Alright guys, welcome to PodCastberaden, episode number 2. I'm Mark Uppelschoot, as most of the people already know, head coach of Vastberaden. But let me tell you something a little bit more about myself. I started, I guess, 6 years ago at CrossFit Leefstad by Vincent as an intern. Did some competition trainings to get better at the movements and to understand CrossFit a little bit more. We moved on to Amsterdam, Vastberaden, and Vincent even fixed for me a house so I could live in Amsterdam. Did some competitions to get my level 1, level 2 CrossFit kits, and did some weightlifting courses. And with me is Vincent, the owner of Vastberaden. Hi, Vincent.
Hi, Margot.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yes.
Most people don't know.
I'm Vincent. I'm 38, married to Marlies, and proud father of Lena. I've been doing CrossFit since 2012. I've opened my first CrossFit gym in 2013, which is CrossFit Lelystad. And I've opened CrossFit Vastberaden 4 years ago. And doing some quick calculations in preparation for this podcast, I think I've programmed around 2,500 workouts.
That is a lot. I didn't program 2,000 workouts, over 2,000 workouts, but we do program for a while together for CrossFit Vastberaden, and I think it works quite well to have like 2 minds on one program. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit more about the program for Vastberaden and how we do that?
Yes. So I think that question has 3 parts. The first part is that we have a very specific goal with our program, and that is to make it safe. I think it's very important that if your goal is to make people fit, that your first concern should be not to get them injured. The second part is that it needs to be effective, because I think that's the quality that people expect from us. It's also like how you can measure the quality we deliver. And for us, because we program for a very broad audience, our program also needs to be fun, because that's what gets people hooked in the first place, and what keeps them coming back. And that's when you can prove to them that it is effective what you're doing.
Yes, I think that's true. I think if it's fun, people indeed coming back. And if people coming back, most of the people say consistency is key. And if it's fun, people coming back, and there will be slowly a progression.
So I think we have a running joke between each other. If I program something that I'm really, let's say, enthusiastic about, and you don't think you think it can be better, then you always ask me, "But is it fun?"
Exactly. And is it fun?
And is it fun? And the other way around as well. If you have something you're really enthusiastic about, I say, "But is it effective?"
That never happened. Can you maybe explain a little bit more about our way to program? For like, we program most of the times week during week, and we have our program sheet for that. And
so
more about how.
Yeah, exactly. So as I said, first of all, you need to know what do you want to achieve with your program, and then the second part is what ingredients do you have to achieve that. And the way we do it is we look at it from a broad perspective first. So there are a couple of things you can balance in your training program, a couple of variables. One being, is it going to be for time, or is it going to be an AMRAP? That has a different effect on the workout. We think about how long the workout should take. We look at the movement domains. So is it weightlifting? Is it gymnastics? Or is it monostructural, like running, jumping, more cyclical movements?
So
we look
more
at the
movements where your heart rate goes up a lot,
yes,
a little bit.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Um, we look at the total amount of reps in the workout, so the volume, and then finally, what movements are you going to use? We look at that for every workout individually, and then we make sure that across all workouts in that week, there's a nice balance between all of these variables. But we also make sure there's a nice balance over all Mondays and over all weeks. So we always look 2 to 3 weeks back on what we've been doing on that specific day in previous weeks to make sure that if you're consistent, it doesn't matter what day you come or how many times you come, but the program offers you so many impulses that you're creating that all-round fitness that we're looking for in CrossFit.
Okay, so if I understand it right, if you want, you can train like 6 days a week because there's so much variation in the program that you not get injured.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times, my advice is to do like 5 days and have maybe one active recovery day and one full rest day. But it should be an option to do like 6 days on and then 1 day off.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also very possible to do only 2 days a week and still get really fit.
Yeah,
and I think that's
the
magic of CrossFit.
Yeah. All right. A lot of things in the program.
Yes.
Combine everything what you said it is not random. Well, it is random, but not for us because there's like a system what we use, and we combine all the movements on different days. So you never will see like clean and jerks and snatches every Monday or every Tuesday. It's always different. But what changed during the coronavirus? Because out of nowhere, we had to switch our program to a home workout program. What changed for us?
Well, it actually changed a lot of things. If you look at all the tools we have in our normal situation to develop strength, speed, endurance, explosiveness, but also things like accuracy and balance, a lot of these tools were taken away all of a sudden. And what was left for us, so we take away all the weightlifting. We keep the gymnastics, but we take away a big part of the movements we can do. So for instance, upper body pulling movements like pull-ups and ring rows, muscle ups, they are, let's say, quite hard to get into the programming. Specifically if you're programming for a big group of people that need to be able to train from their living room or in a park. And because you take away a lot of those variables, you also come into a very different situation when it comes to creating intensity in a workout. Because if I put a heavy barbell on your back, there's already a sense of intensity because there's an external load, and your body is like, I don't want to get crushed by this barbell. Let's go. If you take the barbell away, you're just standing up. All right. And what you specifically see in CrossFit with bodyweight workouts, that it's usually high volume, long workouts, loads of reps, because that's what it takes, especially for more trained CrossFitters, to get to that point in a workout where you start to suffer in the good way, the suffering that we enjoy in this kind of twisted way. So what we've figured out, or what we know from experience, that if you do high volume workouts all the time on a small set of movements, you're going to get injured and you're going to burn out because you put a lot of stress on the body. So yeah, we had to make some changes, and actually you came up with a really great template for that. So maybe you can tell us or can tell the people what we came up with.
Yes, we came up first. Our first idea was to have a lower body workout, upper body workout, and have a flow workout, so people could like still train 6 days a week with 1 day off. Um, but it didn't work that well because the intensity was a bit too low for the people. What we heard. So we changed that in a lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body. And actually, the reason why we did split workout was most of the time what you already said is if you do now a workout and you want to have, well, you want to create that intensity, which you have really fast with a barbell or some materials, you need to do a lot of reps. So let's say do a Monday, if you don't split the program, let's say if you do Monday jumping squats, sit-ups, and push-ups, that means the next day you're probably going to train the same muscle group. And normally that shouldn't be a big problem because the intensity is different. But now, because you have to do, well, because people want to have still the same intensity, you have to do again a lot of reps, and again a lot of reps, and again a lot of reps. And I think maybe 2 days in a row that is not a problem. But now we are programmed already for 4 weeks, maybe even longer. We need to do that. It will be not a wise idea to do like 600 squats in 1 week. So that's why we split the program into a lower body and upper body part to still trying to get that intensity, but in a safe way. And I think we have a perfect program, really good programming where people still can work a little on skill and strength, but keep it safe with intensity, because I think it's a little bit a misunderstanding to get the same results and the same intensity as what people can have in the gym. Maybe for people who have a little bit of materials, it's easier. But if you just have your body weight, where we program for, because not everyone has the capability to buy a dumbbell or barbell or whatever. It's really hard to get the intensity side. So that's why we split up the program in upper body and lower body, so you can still do a lot of reps while you have like 1 day off in between. So you have lower body, 1 day off, lower body, 1 day off, and then you have the flow workout again. So that's a little bit at the focus point what we need to do, because the only thing which you most of the times can do is like squats. And of course, you have shrimp squats, you got pistol squats, you got lunges, you got a lot of things, but almost everything has to be in high repetition.
Yeah. So
it's the same.
Yeah, true. So what you see with bodyweight training, and I also see, on Instagram and Facebook, and like even with upper body and lower body workouts, like we split them up. Most lower body weight movements are knee dominant, meaning that the most of the movement is in the knee, and then the hips. But there's not a lot of, so that means there's not a lot of hamstrings involved. It's a lot of quads, so a lot of front of the legs. So if you do that high rep all the time for a very long time, you're going to develop your body in a very imbalanced way. The same thing for the upper body. Most upper body bodyweight movements, it's pushing. Whether it's push-ups, like pushing away from the body, or you're pushing up, there's not a lot of pulling going on. So the same thing, if you do that over and over again for a lot of reps, so you don't recover well enough, and you don't build strong tendons and ligaments, later on that in a bit, you're going to build imbalances, and imbalances are going to lead to injuries. Maybe it's not now, but when you come back to the CrossFit gym and we're going to put that barbell back on your back and you're going to move in different ways with that load, there is a chance you get hurt, or you're just going to move like shit. And that's why
maybe already hurt.
You're already injured. Yeah. So in hindsight, what I think we as coaching team could have done better is understand what people are going after in their workouts during this quarantine period, and tell them why we are going to go after something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because it's not only about not getting injured, but if you do bodyweight training, it can be quite stressful on especially the ligaments and the joints. And if you want to strengthen those, you need to have a very different mindset than you have with a barbell or even with a dumbbell. I mean, if you have one, you probably have one, so it's the same weight. So that means you're going to do high rep unless it's a really heavy dumbbell, and then you're always going to do low rep, which is also not varied. So I think we could have done a better job at informing people what we're doing, why we're doing it, and help them get a different mindset around intensity, because bodyweight training can be super intense, but the CrossFit mindset is you need to go fast and you need to sweat and you need to get down on the floor crying at the end of the workout, and that's when it's intense. But if you look at gymnastics, which is like the pinnacle of bodyweight training, it's super hard. I mean, the ring muscle up we all dream about, for a gymnast, that's just a way to start. You don't even get points for it. And like Yuri van Gelder, he's not impressed with your burpees. He's not impressed with doing 1,000 lunges. I mean, if you can do an iron cross, yeah, you're not moving, but that's freaking intense.
Yeah.
So it's more.
Saying is, so to keep it a bit short, what you're saying is you. It's not the only way to get intensity out of the burpees and the jumping lunges and the jumping squats and do everything over and over and over again, but it could be also a great intensity by collecting, let's say, really fast 4 minutes of your handstand.
Yeah, exactly. Static holds, increasing range of motion. Before, let's say on a push-up, you bring your hands up so you can go deeper, but instead of going faster and more reps, you're going to go slower. So you can also increase intensity by going slower. And yeah, that's also what's going to build strength. So it's not only going to build aerobic capacity, and it's also going to build up very strong ligaments and tendons. And then when you get back to the barbell, I mean, if you can do a 1 minute freestanding handstand hold, you build up to that, and then you start doing push presses again. I can guarantee you that push press is going to feel super easy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think also the misunderstanding is, and tell me if I'm wrong, people training now for a lot of progress, because if you train and you will see some progress, it will be more fun, and that's always the focus point, of course.
Yes.
But I think in this way, in the coronavirus, people shouldn't not care about the progress a lot, because it's better to save a lot of progress what you had before than like building up progress right now, because it's really hard to like get stronger in the legs, get stronger in your shoulders, in your chest, and whatever. So what you see then is people doing a lot of reps to get that intensity, and they think they're making progress, but actually they're going to hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is like a misunderstanding what we see now, not only in Origin, but like everywhere. Everything has to be really intense, and what you have to lay on the floor sweating and crying. And
well, I mean, it's not a bad thing per se. So let's look at it from a different way. We have our program. And our program is there to tailor to a big audience, from young to old, moms and dads, single people. So it's very it has to cater to a lot of needs. So what we did is we incorporated these levels, beginner, intermediate, and experienced, to do that better. But we still have in mind, or we still think it's important that the training program is effective in creating all-round fitness. So that means it's not only focused on getting really good at high volume, long workouts. It's also still focused at getting you good at strength and moving with control and really short bursts of power, as far as that is possible within the more limited tools we have now. We also, think about how all the workouts link into each other. And what I see happening a lot is that people program for themselves.
That's exactly what I want to ask.
The
focus point for this PodCastberaden, is how can we help, or how can people help themselves with their own programming if they have like a dumbbell or a weight vest or a whatever, a bike? How can we help them to make like a good program and safe and fun?
So yes, exactly. So what I think most people do is when they program around movements. They think, okay, what movements do I want to do today? I have this dumbbell, I have a weight vest, I'm going to the park. So what am I feeling like? What movements do I feel like doing? Then they think, okay, how many reps I'm going to do of this this movement, and how many reps I'm going to do this movement. Yeah, a lot of movements, a lot of reps. This looks like a fun workout. Let's go. And if your main goal during the Corona crisis is to have fun with your workouts, then that is a perfect option. The only advice I would give to these people is, once you've done a workout, figure out how many reps you did, how long it took you, and the movements you did. Like very, very simply, was it a squat or a lunge? Were you pressing? If you were pressing, were you pressing up or away? Did it incorporate some core? And then for your next workout, try to go shorter or longer, do less reps or more reps, and move in a different way. And that way you have a very rudimental way of keeping some balance in your training, so you're not overtraining specific movements or specific muscle groups.
Okay,
so go from fun workout to fun workout. That's option one, I would say.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, make sure you have your movements, what you want to do, and it's completely fine if it's random for me. If you go to the park and then you figure out, okay, what I'm going to do, I will do 100 lunges and 100 dumbbell snatches for time. Perfect. Yeah. You do you, but make sure you don't do it every day like that. If you do it every day like that, you end up with like maybe 800 lunges and 800 snatches on the end of the week, and then that's just 1 week. So if you want to do it completely random, you just go to the park with a friend or your housemate or whatever, and you're going to train, please make sure there's a rest day after. Because then it's okay-ish to do it again. And if you want to train like 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, I should do what Vincent is telling you. Was the pull or push movement, was a squat or a hinge movement? So a hinge movement is leaning forward from the hips. And so you can make some variations. Okay, today there's a pull movement, like a dumbbell snatch. That is a hinge and a pull. Tomorrow I will do a squat and a push, like a thruster. And then it's a rest day. And then you do it again and again and again. I think that's an easy way to program for yourself. And then what you said, I want to go short, I want to go long. What you also can do with short is do more like interval work. So let's say the chief The
Yeah.
perfect workout, I guess, out of the top of my head, it's like 5 rounds, 3 minutes work, 1 minute rest, right? You can also do like 4 minutes work, 4 minutes rest, so you completely recover and then hit it hard again if you still want to have a longer-ish workout.
Yeah. 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off, or 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, the all works. But I think this works, incorporating this kind of stuff works best if you're willing to take it one step further. And this is where you're going to create a small program for yourself. And that small program is not purely aimed at having fun with each specific workout, but the goal is to have fun and maintain or / improve some of your all-round fitness as much as possible. And I think you can write this week to week. Don't worry too much about the other weeks. So you're just going to write down the days that you want to train. And I'm going to give you guys some basic guidelines that we also use for our own program. Okay, so volume wise, you're going to look at it in brackets of 50. So it's 0 to 50 reps, 50 to 100 reps, 100 to 150, 150 to 200. Then it's 200 plus, 300 plus. The workouts at CrossFit Vastgoedade, so the workouts you guys are doing, and that build the fitness that you're trying to maintain now or having fun with now, the majority of workouts is between 50 and 200 reps. 200 plus, that's, let's say, once a week, max. 300 plus, once every 2 weeks. Okay, definitely not multiple times a week. It's a really great way to test your fitness, your ability to push, your ability to work. It's just not the best to suffer, mental game, but it's not the best way to actually build that ability. That lies between those 50 and 200 reps. For how long your workout's going to take, the majority of your workout should be between 5, leaning towards 10 for that fun factor, and 20 minutes. Okay, longer than 20 minutes, once a week. Nearing 30 or over 30, once every 2 to 3 weeks.
But is it fun?
What is fun? Yeah, what is fun? It doesn't have to be fun to be fun. I think that's also something you can keep in mind. And movements, same as we already discussed. Vary it. Don't do dumbbell snatches every day. Okay, because it seems logic. If I do a lot, I like dumbbell snatches. If I do a lot of dumbbell snatches, I get really good at dumbbell snatches. If you do a lot of dumbbell snatches with little rest in between, you're going to get worse at dumbbell snatches. If you do a lot of squats with little rest in between, you're going to get worse at squats. You need time to recover, not only physically, but also technically.
Yeah, otherwise you overtrain it a bit.
Yeah, and if you do high rep, the more reps you do, the worse you're going to move. So you're practicing to get worse at a movement from a movement perspective. So also in that sense, you want to vary. And it can be super simple. You have hinge. Like yesterday, we're doing back scales. If you have a kettlebell, you can do kettlebell swings. That's your hinge. You can do a kettlebell high pull. It's a hinge. You can do a snatch. It's a hinge. Then you go to squatting. You can hold the dumbbell here. You can hold the dumbbell there. You can wear a weight vest. Press, pressing away, pressing overhead, but also holding overhead. That's also training overhead strength. So think a little bit about what other movements you can do than the first movement you think of. Or look at the movement you did the other days and then try a variation. Go from 1 leg to 2 legs or from 2 arms to 1 arm. Stuff like that. And I think like that you can create a very simple program that is not only fun, but it's also still effective. And it's also safe. I think these are the most important things to keep in mind.
What is, of course, the most important thing, to be safe.
Yeah.
So technically, the easiest to do is just grab a piece of paper, write down like 5 days or 4 days what you want to do, how many days you want to train, and I think first of all, uh, under the days with all the movements what you want to do. And then you just can swipe like a dumbbell snatch to day 3. You can swipe your dumbbell thrust to day 4. And if it's of course not the same movement or the same pull or push, and then you can build around those movements what you want to do. A workout like the time domain and the modalities and the amount of reps what you want to do. Like also if you want to be better at, let's say, handstand push-ups or push-ups, what you also can do is like a sprint. So let's say you do a 200-meter run pretty fast, and right away you do one set of max clapping push-ups or bike push-ups. Then you rest as needed maybe, so you're like completely recovered, and you do that for 4 or 5 times. So the intensity will be really high, but the reps stays really low. So you more stay up between the 50 and the 100 reps. They are actually a pretty good push-upper.
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 Push-upper. Let's not forget that the easiest thing to do is follow the program that we created. And
also think about it.
If you want to work, and that if you're worried about losing strength, that you can use our strength programs.
Yeah.
And that you can always ask Xavier anything you want. His number is in the newsletter. And if you're looking at the workout and you think, but I want to add a dumbbell, then ask him to how to add a dumbbell in. Or ask Marco, ask me. Our number's not in the newsletter, but we're on Instagram, Facebook. Are you on TikTok?
Sorry? No, I'm not on TikTok, no. Maybe I should do that. I got one more question. I think it's also an important question for most of the people. Even if almost everything is sold out, if people want to buy some gear, just maybe one piece of gear, what should be that piece of gear, what they can use the most and it's the most effective? So you can think about maybe a mini band, a larger band, a Bosu ball, a kettlebell, dumbbell, whatever. Bike air, ski air. What should you buy?
Of course, it depends a little bit on the person. If I was, let's say, an experienced CrossFitter, I would buy a sandbag because I can do a lot of things with it. I can do cleans with it. I can do presses with it. I can do carries with it. I can do squats with it. It's a static holds. You can even do like bench presses with it. So you get a lot of bang for your buck, and they can be very heavy for, let's say, for only a little uplift. You can even build them yourselves. So sandbag.
You can even decrease the weight and increase the weight with more or less sense.
Yeah, but you would have to be a little bit more experienced in training because it's an odd object. It's also going to challenge your midline stability a lot. So for intermediate CrossFitters, I would say kettlebell. Yes, dumbbell snatches are very fun, but I think a kettlebell is more versatile because you still can do snatches. It's also more skill. You can do squats. You can do swings. I mean, swings is a very effective hinge movement. You can use it for overhead carries, Russian twist, Turkish get-ups. So yeah, it's just a little bit more versatile than the dumbbell. Mm-hmm. And for beginner CrossFitters, I would get a resistance band. And I would use it either for my backyard bodybuilding program. Little plug here. I've already heard from a lot of people that you get really, really sore from it. But you can actually use the resistance band very effectively to balance your body out. I think most beginner CrossFitters, they need to build a better structure. And you can do a lot of cool isolation work like we do in our warm-ups usually with the resistance band. And if you need advice on that, you can always ask Xavier or do the backyard bodybuilding program combined with our regular programming.
Okay. I think to get everything together is
Yeah.
you of course always can our program because we always think about the steps where we talking about. And if you want to do it on your own, what is completely fine. You will be a bit disappointed, but still fine. Is to get a piece of paper, to buy one of the materials, maybe like a resistance band, a kettlebell, or a sandbag, or whatever, depends your level. And first of all, I think you should read out, put the movements what you want to do on a piece of paper, the days you want to train. Also the modality. So if it's gymnastics, if it's monostructural, or it's weightlifting, and then you can easily see where you want to do more reps, where you want to do less reps, and they can make like program for every week. So you can program week by week by week by week. Depends on how long the coronavirus is, and if the gym is open again, you are not injured, and maybe even have some progression in a different way, but there is some progression instead of knee pains and stuff like that.
Yes. So small addition, if you're doing that small programming for yourself and you're coming to the low rep workouts and you're thinking, how am I going to make this heavy? Don't think about, there's always a couple options. Option one is go faster. If you do it in 3 minutes instead of 5, it will be more intense. Option two, increase the range of motion. So for instance, if you're doing push-ups, get your hands off the ground, like on 2 plates or 2 books or something, so you go deeper. Go slower, moving with more control, making the movement longer. It's going to be heavy. Or change the angle in which you're working. So if I go from a push-up to a push-up with my feet on a chair to push-ups with my feet up against the wall, I'm going to make the movement harder. And you can apply these principles to a lot of movements. And if you get stuck, go from 2 feet or hands to 1, and then start challenging your stability in these movements a little bit.
Yeah. One thing what I almost forgot is what you also can do is even in burpees. I think burpees is one of the hardest things, but also the easiest things to improve is worker and technique. So let's say burpees. I mean, I hate burpees. I'm not really good at burpees. If I have to do 30 burpees, I can cry on the floor. But you see a lot of people do like 10 burpees really fast and then starting to do stepping burpees, which you also can tell to yourself, this workout, I'm not allowed to do stepping burpees. The only thing what I do is I jump down with 2 feet at the same time and I jump up with 2 feet at the same time. And I try to maintain that for the entire workout. It will probably slow you down, but in the long term, it will be a little bit faster. So when you're in the box again, you will be the burpee ninja, and then you can do with like every movement, like push-ups. Normally I go to snake push-ups. No snake push-ups anymore. I just make sure every rep is solid.
Yeah,
it should be also a way to increase maybe intensity, but then on a different way.
Yeah, and if you want to get better at a movement, improve your mobility. So if you cannot land with your feet flat on the ground when you're doing burpees, work on some mobility. If your shoulders are weak, do some push-up strength work. That means not too many reps, but with control.
Did you do that?
Of course I did. I'm a push-up ninja when we get back to the box.
I got one really important. I think it's also the last question I want you to ask.
This is where you're going to bash me, right?
Sorry?
This is where you're going to bash me.
No. What do you think about the What do you think about the weight fest?
I love weight fests. Yes, they're they're a great tool for basically everything. I'm wearing one right now.
Yeah, I go to the toilet with a weight vest.
Yeah. No, I think the weight vest is really fun, and you can use it in a lot of workouts. But with everything, vary it. Don't wear it every damn workout.
And if you want to do that, you finally feel how Marcus is normally feels.
Yes.
I think that's it for now, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I hope. people can make something out of this.
That's a long story.
Yeah, if not,
Right.
guys, I'm on Instagram, Vincent Bruder. Send me a direct message, and I'm willing to answer any question you have.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, ask Vincent.
Or Marco. Marco
I'm
Ipelschoot.
also on Instagram, Marco Ipelschoot indeed. You can ask me anything or call me or whatever, and I am happy to help you a little bit further with that. For now, owner of Vastberaden, Vincent, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Welcome.
And probably we'll see you next time in a different episode. Enjoy your day and say hi for me to Lena and of course Maurice. Bye bye.
Bye bye.